Hey guys, Mr. T here for another episode of Mobile World, and I have a helper, my brand new puppy. Mwah. Okay, so his name is Teddy. Alright, so today we are going to be going over not one of my favorite topics, but one of my favorite in ancient history, okay? And that is Babylon, alright? I'm sure many of you have heard this name before. I'm sure you've heard of the city, and I'm even sure if you are a Christian or a Muslim, you have heard of this many times in the Old Testament and some of the earlier verses in the Quran. So what we're going to do is let's just jump right in. So Babylon was a city-state in a place called Mesopotamia, okay? Mesopotamia was part of this thing called the Fertile Crescent, which is in mostly modern-day Iraq and Kuwait, okay? So you have these two rivers called the Euphrates and the Tigris. They branch off of a singular river that leads into the Sea of Kuwait. So the Euphrates and the Tigris, right around those areas, were ridiculously good farmlands. The soil was fertile and everything was great, okay? So a lot of early of civilization started to thrive around there. We see the Sumerians, we see who had the first writing systems. We see the city of Ur, where Abraham, the founder of Judaism, and considered the father of Christianity and Islam as well, he was born there. So Mesopotamia had a lot of rich history and a lot of strong ancient civilizations. Then we have Babylon. Babylon started as some small little side city that really didn't amount for any attention. No one really cared about that. They were constantly being controlled by other city-states and nations and always pushed off to the side. Then around 1800 or the early 1700 BC, we see this gentleman named Hammurabi show up, and he turns Babylon from a tiny little town into a thriving mega city of the ancient world. He expands Babylonian control over all of southern Mesopotamia. He starts pushing into modern-day Iran. He then starts to take over parts of northern Mesopotamia, and he even conquers areas of the Assyrian, not Syrian, but Assyrian Empire, which was Babylon's pretty much rival for most of their existence. He also is known for creating one of the first ever codes of law called Hammurabi's Code, where we get things like eye for an eye and, ear for an ear, and if someone steals, you cut off their hand. Some of these sayings we've heard of actually were laws in his codex. And Babylon began to thrive, and it became one of those powerhouse cities we've heard of in the Bible and in other works. Then after he died, we see Babylon collapse. For about a good 1,000 years, Babylon is another small little city being taken over by the Persians, the Greeks, the Assyrians again, and eventually they peak around 600 BC, and then they collapse again. And we see pretty much just back and forth who's the current empire to take control, and they really are never a dominant empire again. And it's pretty much, it becomes under Muslim control. The city continues to go into decline, and then around 1000 AD, the city's pretty much abandoned. So for about 3,000 years, we have this awesome peak in overwhelming power for the region, and then Babylon just basically collapses. But one of the biggest things Babylon gave us was Hammurabi and this legacy where we refer Babylon to a lot of things. Even the Bible refers Rome to Babylon, and it's usually used as this term for this massive, powerful empire, even though Babylon itself really didn't have a whole lot of power other than those couple decades that Hammurabi was in power. So that's Babylon, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you liked the video, and yeah, stay tuned for more Mobile World, and as always, stay beautiful, Americans. Peace.